Hello, welcome back. And I thought I'd give you a little demo of something I bought a few months ago from Aliexpress and basically stuck it on the shelf and never even plugged it in. So today I've given it a go. Do you remember back in the 90s and then the early 2000s, Alesis, things like MIDI verbs, the MIDI verb 2 and the MIDI verb 3 and then the 4, and then there was a microverb. This appears to be a microverb 4. Now, it doesn't say Alesis on it anywhere, so it's not a fake, but it's got exactly the same knobs and buttons as the Alesis. Even the back panel. Apart from the back panel is like that on the Alesis version. It's reversed. So, extremely weird. Now, I mean, realistically, it comes with a little power supply. If you sort of plug the power supply in, it lights up. And what have we got? Well, you've got a display. Program numbers that go from 000 at one end up to 99. So 100 memories. Each one of these memories can be reprogrammed. So basically, whatever the memory gives you, you've then got two parameters. And very often the parameters might be, if you're looking at the chorus, speed and depth. You know, it's the sort of typical stuff that you get on a floor stomp box. But it's in here. Input volume, output volume, and a mix. And on the back, nice and simple, 2 ins, 2 outs. There is a MIDI input and output as well. And with the MIDI input and output, you can change the program number. So it can be worked from your DAW. Doesn't weigh very much, but small 19-inch rack mount kit never does. I suppose the question for everybody is, what's it sound like? Well, I figured the easiest thing to do would be to grab a guitar, plug the guitar straight into here, plug the output into my interface, and we can have a listen. And we'll go through some of the programs in the groups. I'm not going to take you through all 99, don't worry. Just grab a few, see what the knobs do, see if it does the stuff. What's it sound like? I don't know. So let's give it a go. Well, I suppose what we should do is just do a quick run through some of the presets in here. I mean, fair enough, they're all adjustable and you can do some adjustments, stick them into the memory and then recall them. But let's have a look and see what the preset sounds are. So the plan is we'll just start and we'll go through them. They're in batches because if you look on the actual front, the actual descriptions are there for you to see. So it runs through halls, rooms, plates. Then we get on to chorus and flange, then delays, then pitch shifts, and another one called multi-effects. I'm not quite sure what that does, but I'm sure it's just a combination of the others. Perhaps we'll have a go and see what they actually sound like. I've got this just recording straight off the output. The mix is set to about halfway, so it's probably a little bit over the top in terms of the sort of reverb sound, because we're not including a huge amount of the non-processed sound in it, but it gives you a bit better idea of the quality. Let's have a go. If we start, I mean, program number 2, that's early in the stage of the ones labelled on here as hall effects, so it's going to be a big reverb. No, not that big. Okay, I wonder if there's a bigger one. I'll go back a bit. So the number 1. Bit bigger. And the interesting thing that I've spotted already is that it's almost like it's got a gate on it, because when you actually twang it, you actually hear a build-up of the noise, and then it cools off again. Have a listen. Hear it? Probably going to be masked if you actually play. Definitely there though. Let's go up a little bit. on the range of, it goes from 0 to 10 basically. So, well, that's number 7. It seems to go on forever. Well, that was a bit sort of swampy, really, wasn't it? Sort of like it just went on forever. This is now the top one, number 9. It's gone down again. Odd. So they don't seem to be progressive. Okay. The next lot, rooms. So with common sense, the lowest one, number 10, should be a fairly small room. Yeah. Okay. Up a few. Oh, it's got like a bit of a gated sound to it. But you can hear that hiss cut off, can't you? This particular one runs up through 10 programs, so if we run right up the top, 19. I think probably going to have to live with that noise. It doesn't seem like it's built into pretty much everything. But oddly, my dim and distant memory of the Alesis when they were like first introduced was a lot of people said they were a bit noisy. Microverb 4, I never actually had a Microverb 4, so I can't really comment. MIDI verbs, yeah, but not microverbs, so I don't know, but we'll carry on. The next batch is plates. So 20 is the lowest program number for the plates. Oh, that's all right. Let's go up a few. It's longer, isn't it? As a plate, it sounds more like an old spring reverb to me. But an old spring reverb without the coloration. This one goes up again through 10 variations, so we're on 26. It's quite long, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So 29 would be the biggest of these plates. Now and again, instead of being the biggest, it's gone back down again. So it seemed to be a little range like that. Moving on to number 30. Chorus stroke flange, this next tenor. Ooh. And with all these, you can adjust them, look. Bit of processor noise creeping in there as well, I noticed. There's a bit of a digital twang to this one. Let's go up through some of the other presets. Some of these are a bit extreme, aren't they? Oh, that's a better one. bizarre lot. But again, you've got control over what appears to be the rate and the depth on the two edit buttons, edit knobs, sorry. So that's okay. What's the next section? Oh, delays. So 50, very fast. Slowing. Pretty normal stuff really, isn't it? Okay, let's look at some of the pitch shift settings. I'm not sure if these are going to be very usable or not, but we'll have a go. Oh. Looks like what you've actually got is a pitch shift for the created sound and a pitch shift for the actual one that's the fundamental. So you can, there's two shifts to get them into like an octave. I'm struggling a bit with this on this program. Maybe some of the other programs will be different. Find one that's a bit better to start with, and then perhaps there could be just the ranges are different. So that's a 2 upwards. So that's unison. So is minus 12? Yeah, it is. That's all right, isn't it? So going up, going down. This is right. There's lots of adjustment over different ranges, but basically a fundamental shift and then an affected shift. That sort of works okay. Once you get out of pitch shift territory, we're into multi-effects when we get up to 70. Oh, chorus and reverb. Different, a bit flangy that one. Well, there's plenty of it, so what do you think? Do you know, I have to say, this is like less than £50 on Aliexpress, and I guess what spurred this on, because I've had this thing sitting on the shelf for ages, was that new Behringer Spring reverb that I thought sounded a bit weird, and certainly not a nice spring. It sounded like a sort of one of the older cheapy springs to me. So I wondered if this thing was worth looking at. And, you know, to what? I think it is. It seems to do all the things. It's got problems because, like the old MIDI Verb 2s and 3s that I remember back from the 90s onwards, they're a bit noisy. But I guess guitar processor-wise, lots of them are. So it's a bit hissy. but the hissy does seem to be gated a bit, so in actual fact, take your hands off the strings and the noise stops. So all in all, that's not bad, is it really? So I rather like it, and I probably will end up using this because it does lots of things and it's nice and simple. Realistically, it does appear to be just like those Alesises. I never actually had a microverb before. I had the MIDI verbs. But when you look at the old pictures, it looks like the circuit boards are flipped upside down because the left to right is different on the back of this. So it looks like a mirror image. So I'm guessing that the circuit board has just been put in upside down and the screen printing on the back adjusted. The front has got exactly the same controls, same display, same sort of basic program settings are on a little grid on the front, and they're very similar. So my guess is this is either the old Alesis product been sort of fiddled and badged, or it's a copy of the old, and I don't know which is which. I don't have an old Alesis I can pull the lid off, so I can't tell. But all I know is it's 50 quid, and 50 quid, and it does a hell of a lot of stuff. I'm also plugging the guitar into it direct, and then the output goes straight into my interface here. So it's quite happy with guitar level. You know, most of these ones were used on a mixer loop, weren't they? Take it out of one of the sends and stuff it back in again. But I'll just use this straight in between the guitar and the preamp, and it's working great. So I hope this has been some use to you. They still seem to be available. I've checked this morning. So have a hunt about and see if you might fancy one of these. I think it's a winner. Hey, and it looks quite nice too. See you on the next video. Look after yourselves. Take care.